There will come a time in your life when you will finally understand that peace is not given, it is built. You will realize that the world will never stop testing you, that people will never stop speaking about you, and that storms will never ask permission before they arrive. And when you come to that truth, you will stand a little taller, breathe a little deeper, and stop allowing anger to be your master. You will learn, perhaps slowly and painfully, that no one has the power to disturb your spirit unless you hand it to them. I have known the fire of anger. I have known the trembling hands, the racing heart, the urge to answer back, to prove, to shout, to demand. I have seen the heat rise and blur the mind, turning wisdom into ash. But I have also known the beauty of silence, the strength of stillness, the calm that cannot be broken even when the wind howls. There is a power in peace that no rage can ever reach. There is a dignity in calm that no insult can destroy. We are not born peaceful. We are taught to react. We are told to defend, to argue, to make them see our worth. But there comes a day when you realize that your worth was never meant to be seen by blind eyes. Some people will not see you even when you stand in the light. Some will hear you and still pretend they did not. That is their blindness, not your failure. The moment you understand that, you begin to free yourself from anger's chains. When people speak against you, they are not describing you. They are revealing themselves. Their bitterness, their fear, their envy, their confusion. Do not let their poison become your language. The wise do not drink from every cup handed to them. The strong do not wrestle in every mud pit. You cannot live in peace if you are constantly answering to noise. There is a way of being that no storm can shake. It begins when you decide that your emotions are your own, that no one, not even the cruelest tongue or the coldest heart, can pull you out of your center. When you walk with grace, you learn that people's words are wind. They pass, they fade, they vanish. Only your response gives them power. Only your reaction breathes life into their emptiness. And so, the great lesson of calmness is not in learning how to fight less, but in learning how to not fight at all. You begin to understand that silence can be your sword, and dignity your shield. You let others burn their energy trying to provoke you, while you keep your fire lit inside. Not for destruction, but for illumination. You burn to see, not to scorch. There will always be those who misunderstand you. They will twist your words, question your motives, mock your dreams. They will call you cold when you are composed, arrogant when you are confident, detached when you are discerning. Do not waste a single breath explaining yourself to those who have already decided not to understand. The calm heart does not chase approval. It rests in truth. When someone tries to offend you, it is not about you. It is about the storm inside them. And if you let them, they will drag you into that storm and drown you with them. But if you stand firm, if you choose not to join their chaos, you become the calm that exposes their unrest. You show them what peace looks like. You teach them, without a word, that not every invitation deserves acceptance. Do not think that calmness is weakness. Oh no, it is the mightiest form of strength. Anyone can shout. Anyone can throw words like stones. But to remain gentle when you are provoked, to smile when you are insulted, to walk away when you are tempted to fight, that requires a strength most people never touch. That is not passivity. That is mastery. That is freedom. There is a deep freedom in not reacting. The moment you stop allowing others to pull the strings of your emotions, you reclaim your life. You take back your time, your peace, your joy. You begin to live by choice, not by impulse. And when you live that way, the noise around you fades into a faraway hum. You start to see that most of what once angered you was never worth the energy. The driver who cuts you off, the gossip who whispers, the critic who never creates, all of them lose their hold on you. You learn to pause. That sacred pause between what happens and how you respond, that is where peace lives. That is where wisdom speaks. In that quiet moment, you get to choose: will I react, or will I rise? Will I be pulled into the storm, or will I stay grounded like the mountain? You learn that the one who controls their response controls their destiny. People will come into your life to test your patience. Some will do it with intention, some out of ignorance. But every one of them is a teacher. The rude one teaches you grace. The liar teaches you discernment. The selfish one teaches you generosity. The angry one teaches you calm. Every encounter is a mirror reflecting what still needs healing in you. If you pay attention, you will find that the people who bother you the most often reveal the wounds you have not yet tended. Anger is a visitor. It comes, it knocks, it demands attention. But you do not have to open the door. You can acknowledge its presence without letting it inside. Say to yourself, I see you, anger. I feel you. But you do not live here anymore. You breathe. You release. You remember that peace is a practice. And you practice again and again until calm becomes your nature. It takes courage to be unbothered. The world celebrates outrage. It rewards reaction. People confuse noise with power. But power is not in shouting louder. It is in remaining still when others tremble. True strength is not in striking back. It is in rising above. Anyone can curse. It takes wisdom to bless. Anyone can hate. It takes divinity to love in the face of contempt. If someone disrespects you, let them. Their words cannot touch what they do not understand. If someone betrays you, release them. They were never meant to carry your heart. If someone ignores you, thank them. They have given you the gift of solitude, where your spirit grows. Every loss of peace is a reminder to return home to yourself. You cannot control how others behave, but you can always control how you respond. And the most beautiful response is to protect your energy, preserve your joy, and keep your dignity. Do not argue with small minds. Do not fight with those who live in darkness. You were not made to wrestle in the mud. You were made to walk in the sun. There will be days when you fail. Days when someone's words pierce too deep, when you respond too fast, when you forget your calm. Do not punish yourself for being human. Just pause, breathe, and return. You are learning, you are growing, you are remembering who you are. Not a puppet of other people's emotions, but a keeper of your own soul. The reason people can upset you is because you let them. You believe their opinion holds truth about you. But it doesn't. You know who you are. You know what you've endured. You know what burns quietly in your spirit. Do not let the uninformed shake what was built in fire. Your peace is sacred. Guard it like treasure. To never get angry or bothered is not to stop feeling. It is to feel fully and still choose peace. You can acknowledge the sting without surrendering to it. You can witness the disrespect without becoming it. You can see the chaos and still say, I will not join this dance. That is mastery. That is grace. There will be moments when silence will be your loudest statement. When walking away will speak louder than any argument. When smiling will confuse those who expected you to break. That is the moment you realize that your spirit cannot be disturbed by noise. That is the moment you understand that peace is not the absence of trouble. It is the presence of strength. You are not obligated to attend every battle you are invited to. You are not required to explain your calm. Some will mistake it for weakness, others for arrogance. Let them. They cannot comprehend a heart that has made peace its home. Keep walking with quiet confidence. Keep choosing grace over reaction. The loudest person in the room is rarely the strongest. Often it is the one sitting in stillness who holds true power. Every time you resist the urge to be angry, you heal something ancient within you. Perhaps it is the child who was not heard. Perhaps it is the memory of betrayal. Perhaps it is the wound of disrespect. Whatever it is, each moment of calm is an act of healing. You are rewriting your story, from reactive to reflective, from broken to balanced, from triggered to transformed. The unbothered soul is not careless, it is wise. It has seen enough to know that not everything deserves energy. It has learned that silence is not surrender, but sovereignty. It knows that the one who owns their peace owns their life. When you reach that place, nothing external can disturb your internal world. You become a mountain in the storm, still, unmoved, unshaken. And when you walk through the world like that, people feel it. They sense the calm around you. Some will be drawn to it, others will be threatened by it. That is not your concern. You are not responsible for how your peace makes others feel. You are responsible only for keeping it alive within you. So the next time someone tries to provoke you, smile. The next time someone disrespects you, stand tall. The next time someone betrays you, bless them and move on. You do not need to match their energy. You are not their mirror. You are the light they cannot dim. When you are no longer bothered, you begin to see clearly. You notice beauty where before there was noise. You hear your own voice again. You laugh without fear. You love without conditions. And you walk in a way that says, I have seen darkness, but I chose light. This is how to never get angry or bothered by anyone. You fall so deeply in love with your peace that you refuse to trade it for anything less. You stop giving people the power to pull you down. You stop explaining your calm to those who live in chaos. You stop needing to win arguments that are not worth having. You rise quietly, beautifully, endlessly. Because peace is your birthright, and no one can take what you do not give. There is a majesty in calmness that shakes the world more than any shout ever could. Walk in that majesty. Speak from that stillness. Love from that peace. And when the world tests you, as it surely will, smile, breathe, and remember storms pass, but the mountain remains. True peace begins when you stop reacting to what doesn't deserve your energy. Most people spend their lives giving their emotions away to every disturbance, every word, every gesture that crosses their path. They hand out their peace like loose change, letting others decide when they will be calm and when they will be angry. But there comes a time when you begin to see that not every sound deserves your attention. Not every shadow deserves your chase. Not every battle deserves your sword. Peace is not found in the absence of problems, but in the strength to face them without losing your balance. When you learn this, you begin to separate noise from meaning, reaction from response, emotion from understanding. Every day you are surrounded by opportunities to lose yourself. A stranger's insult, a friend's betrayal, a family member's harsh words, the slow grind of life's unfairness. And yet, in every one of those moments lies a sacred choice to react or to rise. Most people react because that is what they've been trained to do. They think the loudest one wins, that defending themselves restores their worth, that anger proves strength. But strength is quiet. Power is still. Peace does not shout, it simply stands. The more you grow, the more you realize that giving energy to what drains you is not courage. It is surrender. It is letting the outside world dictate the temperature of your inner world. When you stop reacting to what doesn't deserve your energy, you become selective with your spirit. You learn to pause before speaking, to breathe before answering, to observe before judging. You start to see the truth behind people's words, that many of them are only projecting their own pain, echoing their own confusion. Their words have nothing to do with you, and everything to do with the storms inside them. Why then should you carry their storms in your sky? Why should you let their thunder shake your calm? You do not owe your reaction to every provocation. You owe yourself the serenity that comes from restraint. You begin to feel a power that cannot be explained, the kind that comes when you are no longer controlled by impulse. When you can smile at what once would have angered you. When you can walk away instead of defending your dignity to those who never valued it. When you can listen without being provoked and witness without being wounded. This is not coldness, this is wisdom. It is the understanding that energy is sacred, and every time you react to nonsense, you lower yourself to its level. The strong do not prove themselves through reaction, they prove it through peace. Life will never stop testing your calm. But with each test, you become more aware of your own strength. You begin to realize that peace is not something you find once and keep forever. It is something you choose over and over again, especially when it is hardest to do so. The moment you stop reacting to what doesn't deserve your energy, you take back control of your life, your mind, your power. Your time. Silence is the strongest response to ignorance and disrespect. There is a kind of wisdom that does not need to speak to be heard, a kind of dignity that does not need to defend itself to be seen. When you meet ignorance with silence, you rise above the noise that others try to trap you in. You refuse to let their chaos become your language. Most people believe that silence is weakness, that speaking louder somehow means winning. But the truth is that silence is power, because it shows you are not moved by what is beneath you. It is the posture of strength that says, I will not lower my vibration to match your confusion. When you choose silence, you are not surrendering. You are mastering yourself. Ignorance seeks attention. Disrespect feeds on reaction. When you answer them, you give them what they crave, validation. You confirm their importance in your world. But when you stay silent, you deny them the satisfaction of control. You rob them of their ability to disturb your peace. There is nothing more unsettling to a foolish person than a wise one who will not play their game. Your silence becomes a mirror that reflects their emptiness back at them. It shows them their noise has no power here. It teaches them that your energy is not available for cheap exchanges. To be silent in the face of disrespect is not to ignore injustice, but to understand that not every battle is yours to fight. You learn to measure the weight of your words and the worth of your time. You begin to realize that your calm is a crown that must not be set down for every barking voice. The world will try to pull you into its arguments, its pettiness, its need for reaction. But peace cannot dwell where noise is entertained. You keep your dignity not by proving others wrong, but by proving to yourself that you no longer need to react to their wrongness. Silence carries an elegance that no argument can match. It says, I know my worth, and it cannot be reduced by your misunderstanding. It protects your energy, it shields your heart, it preserves your power. The one who is silent is not empty. They are full of control. They are full of understanding that not everything requires a response. Silence is the language of maturity, the ability to listen to disrespect and still choose peace over pride. It is the voice of wisdom that whispers, I will not waste my breath on those who cannot hear truth. There will always be those who mistake your silence for fear, or arrogance, or indifference. Let them misunderstand. Their opinions live only in the echo chambers of their own ignorance. You do not need to explain yourself to small minds. The higher you rise, the quieter your spirit becomes. True power walks softly, speaks rarely, and acts with intention. In the stillness of silence, you find the strength that no insult can touch, the grace that no argument can break, and the peace that ignorance cannot disturb. Your calm is your crown. Never trade it for someone else's chaos. There is a strength in composure that cannot be measured by loud words or angry gestures. The world is full of people who will try to steal your peace, who will push and pull at the edges of your patience, hoping to see you unravel. They will test your kindness, question your choices, and provoke your spirit. But when you hold your calm like a crown, you are choosing sovereignty over surrender. You are deciding that no one has the authority to dictate the rhythm of your heart or the temperature of your mind. Composure becomes a throne upon which your dignity rests, untouchable and unwavering. Chaos is seductive. It tempts the soul with drama, promising that reacting will prove strength, that defending yourself will prove worth, that anger will prove presence. Yet all it does is drain you, blur your vision, and tether your joy to circumstances you cannot control. To trade your calm for chaos is to give away your power. You are allowing the storm outside to enter the garden of your mind. But when you refuse, when you hold steady, when you choose serenity over reaction, you preserve something priceless. Your calm is not just a personal sanctuary. It is a shield that protects your life from unnecessary pain. To wear your calm as a crown requires practice. It requires noticing the urge to react before you act, feeling the sting of provocation before you speak, and pausing long enough to let wisdom guide your response. It is not indifference, nor is it weakness. It is mastery. It is understanding that responding to every insult or challenge only feeds the fire that the world wants you to carry. You do not have to engage in every battle. Some wars are won by standing still. Your calm signals to others that you are not a puppet of circumstance, that you are the keeper of your own spirit, and that no external force can diminish the dignity you have chosen to wear. People will challenge you, test you, and attempt to unseat your composure. They will try subtle and blatant tactics. Words meant to cut, actions meant to provoke, situations designed to create tension. And yet, when you remain unmoved, you teach a lesson greater than any argument could convey. You show that strength does not shout, that power does not demand attention, and that true presence is unshaken by the attempts of others to disturb it. The one who is calm holds an invisible throne, a quiet authority that even chaos respects. Your calm is contagious. Those around you begin to sense it, even if they do not name it. It creates space for reason, clarity, and reflection. In a world of noise, the composed soul becomes a lighthouse, guiding not only themselves but also others who may be lost in the storm of emotion. By holding on to your calm, you are choosing clarity over confusion, peace over provocation, and life over unnecessary conflict. When you see the world's chaos and still maintain your crown, you are doing more than protecting yourself. You are showing what it looks like to live from a place of mastery, dignity, and strength. Your calm is a signal, a statement, and a sanctuary all at once, and once you wear it fully, you will find that no one can take it from you. Every person who tests your patience is revealing your next level of growth. Life has a way of presenting challenges not to break us, but to show us where we are still capable of expanding, where our strength has room to grow, and where our spirit has yet to fully awaken. When someone angers you, disrespects you, or challenges your sense of peace, it is not merely an inconvenience. It is a mirror held up to your own soul. It reflects back the places where patience is needed, where self-mastery can be strengthened, where your capacity for understanding, forgiveness, and composure can stretch beyond its familiar limits. Each encounter, whether trivial or profound, becomes a teacher if you are willing to see it that way, a guide pointing toward the deeper layers of your own inner strength. Most people approach challenges with resistance, seeing them as obstacles rather than invitations to grow. When someone provokes them, they respond immediately, defensively, often without awareness of the lesson concealed within the moment. But growth does not come from resistance. It comes from reflection, observation, and intentional response. When you learn to pause before reacting, you allow yourself the gift of perspective. You begin to see that every person who attempts to unsettle you is doing nothing more than revealing what still resides within you: anger, fear, insecurity, or unhealed wounds. Your irritation is not always about them. Often it is about the parts of yourself you have yet to nurture, the edges of your heart that need patience, the areas of your mind that require calm and clarity. Tests of patience come in many forms: a rude remark from a stranger, a harsh critique from someone close to you, a betrayal you never expected, a circumstance that seems unfair or unjust. Each of these moments has the potential to awaken you, to stretch your ability to remain centered, to exercise discernment, and to hold your power without giving it away. Growth is often uncomfortable. It requires that you remain present even when your emotions tempt you to flee, to lash out, or to succumb to the easy reaction. Patience is not passive. It is active engagement with life on your own terms, a deliberate choice to rise above the immediacy of irritation and respond with wisdom. The one who controls their emotions controls their destiny. Life presents challenges, moments that provoke, situations that threaten to unbalance, and people who push against the boundaries of patience. Yet in all of this, the single most profound power we hold is the ability to govern our own inner state. To control one's emotions is not to suppress feeling or pretend that difficulties do not exist. It is to recognize that the outcome of every circumstance is determined not by the event itself, but by the choices we make in response. When we learn to master our emotions, we no longer drift with the currents of life, we navigate with intention, charting our own course with wisdom and clarity. Most people mistake external events for destiny, believing that circumstances define their lives. A harsh word, a betrayal, a setback, these are often seen as shaping the path ahead, but what truly determines the journey is how one responds to these events. Reacting impulsively to provocation allows anger, fear, or resentment to dictate action, leaving the individual at the mercy of forces outside themselves. Emotional mastery transforms the energy of feelings into conscious choice. It allows the mind to think clearly, the heart to remain centered, and the spirit to act with purpose, rather than being swept away by temporary turbulence. Control over emotions begins with awareness. You must notice the stirrings of anger, the pull of fear, or the weight of disappointment before they dictate your behavior. Self-awareness provides a pause, a moment in which reflection can replace reaction. By pausing, you gain the power to choose a response that aligns with your values rather than surrendering to the immediate intensity of feeling. In this space, emotional energy is transformed from a source of disturbance into a force for clarity and direction. The one who masters this skill begins to see that destiny is not a passive series of events, but a reflection of intentional choices, shaped by calm judgment rather than impulsive reaction. Life's tests are constant, but they are also instructive. Provocation, insult, betrayal, and adversity are opportunities to exercise emotional control. Every time we resist the urge to react with anger or frustration, we reinforce our ability to navigate future challenges with clarity. Each deliberate choice builds resilience, deepens understanding, and strengthens character. Emotional control is not a denial of feeling. It is the conscious use of feeling to guide constructive action. By mastering responses to external stimuli, the individual aligns their actions with purpose and cultivates a life shaped by intention rather than circumstance. Those who control their emotions also influence the world around them in profound ways. Calmness fosters respect, measured action inspires trust, and wisdom becomes apparent to others. Provocation loses its power because the response does not feed it. Composure and restraint signal that no one can manipulate the inner state of a person committed to mastery. This control is not coldness, but an affirmation of sovereignty over one's mind and spirit. Every deliberate choice to remain centered is a step toward creating a life that reflects strength, clarity, and intentionality. The mastery of emotions is the foundation for true freedom. It allows one to act deliberately, respond constructively, and shape life's trajectory. Circumstances may be unpredictable, and people may act unjustly, but those who govern their emotions create their destiny through conscious choice, not by being swept away by temporary feelings. It is in the cultivation of this mastery that the individual discovers the profound truth that destiny is not handed down by events or others, but built moment by moment through thoughtful, controlled response, through the steadfast guidance of the mind, the heart, and the spirit. There is a profound freedom in being unbothered, in refusing to allow the actions and words of others to dictate your inner peace. Life will constantly present moments designed to test your patience, challenge your composure, and awaken old insecurities. People will act from fear, ignorance, or malice, hoping to provoke a reaction, to see your calm falter, or to unsettle the balance you have worked so hard to build. Yet the one who is truly unbothered understands that no one has the authority to disturb what has been consciously nurtured within. Being unbothered is not detachment from life. It is mastery over self, the ability to witness without being consumed, to encounter without being diminished, and to live fully without surrendering your power to external forces. To become unbothered, one must cultivate awareness of the triggers that provoke emotional disturbance. Every insult, slight, or judgment contains an invitation to react, but it also contains an opportunity to rise above. Recognizing that the disturbance exists outside of your essential, being allows you to observe without absorbing. It is in this space of observation that the seed of unshakable peace is planted. Each time you resist the urge to react, each time you choose reflection over impulse, you reinforce your capacity for emotional sovereignty. This practice transforms vulnerability into strength and impulsive reaction into deliberate, conscious choice. Being unbothered requires patience and the cultivation of inner resilience. It is not a single act, but a continuous practice of reminding yourself that your energy belongs to you alone. Others may attempt to distract you, provoke you, or manipulate your emotions, but true power lies in preserving your center. In moments of potential agitation, the unbothered individual pauses, breathes, and chooses clarity over chaos. They do not need to prove themselves, correct perceptions, or defend their dignity to those unwilling or incapable of understanding. By maintaining this composure, they create a sanctuary within themselves that cannot be breached by external turbulence. Unbothered living also fosters clarity in judgment and discernment in action. When emotions are not hijacked by reaction, the mind is free to analyze, reflect, and respond strategically. The unbothered person sees situations and people for what they are rather than how they feel in the moment. They recognize patterns of behavior, understand the motivations of others, and act in alignment with principles rather than impulses. This perspective allows them to navigate relationships and challenges with grace, avoiding entanglement in unnecessary conflicts, and conserving energy for what truly matters. Choosing to remain unbothered is not a passive surrender. It is an active engagement with life from a place of power. It signals to the world that your inner peace is sovereign and cannot be appropriated by the chaos of others. It demonstrates resilience, strength, and emotional intelligence. The unbothered individual becomes a stabilizing force, not only for themselves but also for those around them, creating an atmosphere where reason, calm, and perspective can prevail. This state of being requires ongoing attention and discipline, for life's disturbances are constant, and the temptation to react is ever present. Yet each choice to remain calm, each refusal to be provoked, strengthens the foundation of personal power. Being unbothered is ultimately a declaration that your peace, joy, and clarity are not negotiable. It is a commitment to rise above the noise, maintain dignity amidst challenge, and walk through life with the unshakable knowledge that no external circumstance can control the spirit that has chosen freedom, balance, and unwavering calm.